Hey there, I'm Gabby and I am a wet and wet oil painter. And today I want to talk about something that's sort of near and dear to my heart, and it is how to package and transport pictures. So when I do art shows and stuff like that, I have anywhere from 200 to 400, sometimes even more pictures that I carry with me. So I had to come up with a way to prevent them from getting scratched, and I also came up with a way to save space in the process. So let's get started. The first pictures I'm going to talk about are my flat canvases. So this is a flat canvas. I went to painting on flat canvases because they take up a lot less space. When I have 400 of these, they take up about 10 totes in my trailer, and they're huge, huge totes. And that's just way too much space. When I cut them all off the frames and started painting on flat canvases, I can fit everything that used to take up 10 totes in one tote and still have space left over. Now, granted, I can't lift that tote anymore because it's really heavy, but I find ways to deal with it. So my flat pictures. So what am I going to do with this to protect it and to display it? If I were just to try to put it on something, it's so wiggly that it would not hold its own. They just curl over or fall over. So I figured I would probably need a way to back them. So to back them, I got tag board, and I buy bigger sheets of tag board, and then I use a slide cutter and I cut them down to 16 by 20. So there's my backing. It gives me a little bit more stability. Well, then I had all this leftover stuff for my tag board, so then I started making matting. So now it sort of looks nice. And then I protect them all and keep them all together in one of these envelopes. And it's got sort of a sticky strip on the back. So I can just slide it into the envelope. And although this takes time, the packaging is probably about $1 a picture. So if you were to buy all of this packaging like pre-made, it would cost about $25 per picture. So I try to do everything cheaper if I can. So that was sort of my solution. So there I have it, and then I have it in a stand where there's a whole bunch of them. People can flip through them, and then I don't have to worry about them getting scratched. So those are my flat pictures. So let's go to the 16 by 20s on a stretched frame. So when I carried these, I came up with another system. I got these plastic sheets, and I got plastic sheets that come with the canvases I buy from Michaels, but that wasn't enough. I needed more of them. So then I got this roll of plastic, not quite as heavy duty, but it still works. And I got this from Blick online. I think it was like, I don't know, $30, $40 for a roll. And you can do like 20 pictures with it. So it's a little bit more expensive. And that might not quite be the pricing. But anyways, so I got the sheets to cover them. Okay? So the problem with it is there's two things. When you're transporting them, they get sort of pressure marks from each other, where the frame from the one in front of it will sit and rub against here. And I'll end up with like scuff marks down the sides and paint rubbed off on the corners. And I've done it too, where I take them and I put like two pictures face to face, and then I sort of go back and forth with them. But then the problem is when I go to display them, when people are looking through them, they will rub against each other. So I had to have some sort of covering on them. Another thing too is they'll pull them out and then they'll slide them back down in, and they'll scratch the pictures. So after my first season of selling, I came home and fixed over 100 pictures, and it's just too much work. It's too much time. It's just such a waste. So I got these plastic sheets. Well, the problem is they don't just stay on there. So I came up with a way to keep the sheets on and to protect the corners. So I made these little paper corners, and I made them out of Reynolds freezer paper. And this freezer paper is waxed on one side, and then it's just paper on the other. Now, in order to prevent the paint from sticking to it, if it's like out in the humidity, I put that plastic side on there. So I made these corners, and then I wrapped them around the corner, And then I use double-sided sticky tape to hold those corners on. And I put the plastic underneath the corners. So before I wrap it, I put the plastic sheets on and then I wrap up the corners, and then it holds the sheet on and it keeps the corners extra protected. Now, I also got these cardboard corners. They don't stay on very well unless you can sort of get them on the right way. The other problem with them is they're very expensive. I think they're about $1 a corner, which might not sound like a lot, but when I can package my other pictures in the packages I make for less than $1, $4, and then do the math on that, like 1,600 corners, yeah, they're really, really expensive. So I'm not gonna waste that kind of money. Making my corners, I can make, I don't know, hundreds of them from one of those boxes. I think about enough to do 200 pictures out of every box. And so it saves me a lot of money. The double-sided sticky tape that I use is this. So it is Duck brand double-sided sticky tape. And I happen to have some of this sitting around, and so I used it, and then I realized it works really well. It's super, super sticky. And then I put tape on these sides, and then it sticks really well. So that's the double-sided sticky tape that I use. So that's one way that you can wrap them. And that's kind of how I came up with it. Well, now I don't sell these stretched anymore unless they're bigger canvases. So what do I do with bigger canvases? Here's a bigger canvas. And if you can sort of see, it's shiny, and that's because I have it wrapped. So how did I wrap it? I wrapped it with double-sided sticky tape. And this double-sided sticky tape, it comes with window kits for wrapping windows. Like if you live in the north where I live, where it's really cold, if you have windows that are really, like breezy or whatever. And so it comes with this double-sided sticky tape and then this really thin plastic sheeting. So I put the double-sided sticky tape around it, and I lay down a sheet of the plastic, wrap it around it really tight, and then I stick it down. I cut off any extra plastic. And then what you do with this stuff to sort of shrink wrap it is you take a blow dryer to it, and then it pulls it nice and tight. It pulls out the wrinkles and it makes it look nice and smooth. So that's kind of how I deal with my bigger pictures. So those are my 3 sort of solutions. If you paint on flat, do the envelopes. You can do the sheets in between, you can do corners, or you can completely wrap all of your pictures. So those are sort of my solutions. So that's it. Any questions or comments, just put them in the comment section of the video and I will happily address that. If you could like, share, subscribe, that would be very helpful. I'm working on building my channel. I'm Gabby. Until next time, happy painting.